Hi there. I'm just gonna give you a quick bookcase tour of my little bookcase that's getting ever expanding. I do have to lay some of these books kind of horizontal, but if I start at the very beginning of my, technically it's the middle shelf, but to me it's my top shelf. My finger got in the way. I have The Magician's Table by Alan Richardson, I think it is. If I come up to this big stack of books here that are like horizontal, these are books that I've gotten over the years. A lot of them I don't even read anymore, or I think, they're not really into it for me, but they do have some good information in it. I have A Little Book of Love Magic by Patricia Telesco, Energy Essentials for Witches and Spellcasters by Maya Ohm, The Only Wiccan Spellbook You'll Ever Need. No, I don't agree with that. Judica Elish, Magic When You Need It. I have the Element Encyclopedia of 1,000 Spells. That was my very first spell book that I got. That's also by Judica Elish. Exploring Spellcraft by Jarena Dunwich. Spellcraft for the Hedge Witches by Ray Beth. Powercraft, Spellcraft for Life. That was by Erin Murray Hiscock. I have Orion Foxwood's The Candle in the Crossroads. I have Denise Alvarado's The Hoodoo Voodoo Spellbook. One of my favorite books is Utterly Wicked, Curses, Hexes, and Other Unsavory Notions by Dorothy Morrison. Love Dorothy Morrison. And then probably about 2 years ago was when I got the Element Encyclopedia, 5,000 Spells by Judica Elish. I know a lot of people pronounce her last name as Ilz or Illiz, but she's Polish, and that is how you pronounce her name. I have her on one of my Facebooks, and I had to ask her how to do that because we always were in correspondence quite a bit. Same with Orion Foxwood. I have him. Now, if I move over here, I have a few of the Witches' almanacs that you get. Those are the ones that are put out by, I think it's Providence Press. They've been going on since the 70s. I do like them. Beside that, I have the Magic Charms from A to Z, also put out by the, there it is there. I'm terrible at camera work. That's also put out by the Witch's Almanac. Beside that, I have Enchantment. I'm going to pull this out because this is a really good book. Enchantment. The Witch's Art of Manipulation Through Gesture, Gaze, and Glamour. That's by Peter Padden. Good friend of mine on Facebook. We correspond quite a bit as well. He's answered quite a bit of my questions. I also have his Visceral Magic that I've gotten. A Grimoire for Modern Cunning Folk, also by Peter Padden. Treading the Mill. This is what inspired me to call my blog Treading the Mill. It's by Nigel G. Pearson. Very great if you're getting into traditional witchcraft. The book that started it all for me, I got this at in a used book section. It is called Witchcraft, A Tradition Reborn. It's by Evan John Jones with the foreword by Doreen Valiente. Now, they always say that she co-wrote the book. She just wrote the preface for it, and given her insights because she was a person that knew Roy Bowers, a.k.a. Robert Cochrane, very well during his heyday before he passed away. I also have her The Rebirth of Witchcraft by Doreen Valiente. Natural Magic, which is also a very, very good book. I have The ABCs of Witchcraft. Yes, that is Janet Farrar on the cover, that her husband took that picture that Doreen had permission to use. Witchcraft for Tomorrow. That one I really loved. That was a really good book. And I got The Gentle Arts of Natural Magic by Marion Green. Everyday Moon Magic, Dorothy Morrison. Now, I do have another Dorothy Morrison book, but I lent it out to a friend of mine right now. And it was just one of her beginner books. It's one of those little 101 type books. So I have that, and it's called The Craft. Big green book. It's a good book, like if you're starting out. I also have In the Shadow of 13 Moons, and that's by Kimberly Sherman Cook. I have Walking with the Green Man and that's by Dr. Curran. I have another book of his here somewhere. I got my Green Witchcraft series by Anne Morag. So I have Green Witchcraft 1, 2, and 3, and I also have Green Magic. I thought this was cute at the bookstore. Simply Fairies. I went through a fairy stage. I still love the wee folk. I don't work with them as much as I used to, but I still have them here for reference. My other book by Dr. Curran, which was called Dark Fairies, got that for a birthday gift. And, got this for a birthday gift too. The Fairy's Guide to Green Magic from the Garden. If anybody knows me, then you know that I have a black thumb. I have Fairy Magic by Sharona Knight. It was a very good book as well. Saw this at one of the local bookstores too. It's just called The Fairy Book. Samantha Gray. My eyesight is bad. I have Mrs. B's Guide to Household Witchery. Really good book. I've listened to her on many of my podcasts, and she's been on my Facebook probably since one of the first what I call pagan celebrities, because I've always followed Confessions of a Pagan Soccer Mom. I have Haitian Voodoo by my friend Mambo Cheeto 10. She is an awesome Mambo. I've gone to her for lots of questions. She can help me so much because, as we all know, Voodoo is initiatory religion. A religion, it's not a practice. And she's given me some advice, like if I've needed anything like that. Been up to chapters. I got 2 copies of the Magical Times magazine, and it's from Great Britain. It's a really cool, very Celtic, Eurocentric, fairyish type magazine. Now, down here on my second shelf, it's dark. I have, it's kind of dark down here. I have The Secret World of Witchcraft by Jason Carl. This is a guy who's an occultist. Well, not really, but he's always on television over in the UK. First time I ever heard of him, he was on the show called Most Haunted. I watched that about 12 years ago, I think it was. I have one book here called The Lore of the Bard. It's by a person named Arthur Rowan, aka Cliff Sarantine. It was his first book that he ever published with Llewellyn. Since then, he's gone back to using his real name, but still working for Llewellyn. I have The Way of the Four by Deborah Lipp. Heard that was supposed to be a good book. Didn't mind it. Not my thing. Right beside it, I have I'm going to start pulling books out. Yeah, I do have one Christopher Penczak book, The Inner Temple of Witchcraft. I also had the accompanying CDs for meditation and everything. The CDs were exactly just a regurgitation of the whole book. I have Marion Green, A Witch Alone. Oh my god, this is really dark because I'm on the bottom shelf and the lighting in here sucks. So I apologize. I have The Magic of the Celtic Gods and Goddesses, because I went through a Celtic phase. Yes, I go through different phases. Singing with Blackbirds. It was all about Celtic shamanism and folk traditions. So I got that I'd say about 3.5 years ago. I think I got through like halfway through the book, and I had to put it down because it was boring and it was putting me to sleep. The very first book I ever read was back in 1993, and it was Starhawks, The Spiral Dance. Borrowed it from my friend Charlie, and she had the different cover. She had the one had like the really red spirally cover, and it was a really good book. So when I got a chance, I bought this copy. Now, I think this is like standard on everybody's little thing, because I went through the little Wicca 101 phase probably about a long time ago. Maybe about a decade ago, because it's been a while. So I do have Scott Cunningham's Wicca and Living Wicca. And I did get Solitary Wicca for Life by Erin Murray Hiscock. A Witch's Bible. I think probably every pagan has this on their bookshelf at some point in their life. Progressive Witchcraft, which was by Janet Farrar and her new husband Gavin Bone. I have The Healing Craft, also by, this one was by Janet and Stuart Farrar and Gavin Bone. He was like a friend of theirs too back when Stuart was alive. I have Wicca by Vivian Crowley. No relation to Alistair from what I've gathered. Let me see if I can get this. Nope, it's not going back into my bookcase. I'll just put it on the floor right now. I have Witchcraft Today by Gerald B. Gardner. Never really read it. Saw it and I was like, yeah, I think I should have that. The Clan of the Goddess. It's Celtic wisdom for ritual and for home. It's a bit of a fluffy book. It has some good stuff in there, but I think the bad and the cheesy outweighs it, in my opinion. Wicca for Beginners by Thea Sabian. Yeah, my lighting really sucks. I apologize, folks. I found that at one of those little psychic fairs that you see local in the city. The Witch's Sabbath by Mike Nichols. Interesting. It was an interesting book. I can't really remember what it was all about. It was a few years ago that I read that. I have 2 books by Judy Ann Nock. I have The Witch's Grimoire, which looks really cool, but it's okay. And The Wiccan Year. Can you tell that I went through a Wiccan wannabe phase in my life? Way of the Green Witch, another one by Aaron Murphy Hiscock, and same with The Way of the Hedge Witch. Now, at a used bookstore one time, found this book, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. It was like her autobiography of how it was Phyllis Carrot. She's on my Facebook as well. She doesn't post very often. She's with the Temple of Era. But loved her book because it was just reading like one of those trashy novels from the 80s, because that's where like her story took place. But I'm not talking about the Wiccan part of it. It was like her personal life, where she was a lawyer working in the entertainment business, and the crap that she had to put up with. It was really good in how she used her spirituality and getting together with her coven, you know, how that kind of grounded and centered her from all the bullshit that she had to put up with being a lawyer in the entertainment business. So, you know, it's a really, really good read. If you can get a copy of it, go for it. It's a good read. It reads like just the way like a book from the 80s, 70s, 80s, almost like those old like Sidney Sheldon, Danielle Steele type books. But it was so good. But it was also gives you a lot of stuff about how she came into the craft and how, you know, where she is today. Now, beside that, I have another book by her called Witchcrafting, and it's just making magic and a spiritual guide and everything. I found that, I think I probably had to order that because local bookstores around here don't really carry too much unless it's like Llewellyn. And as you can tell, there are a few Llewellyn books that are on my bookcase that I've gotten over the years from my local bookstore. But once I got what I wanted from them, that was about it. Found this one at a local bookstore. Well, it was at Chapters, Indigo Books, whatever. And it's just called Witches, Sirens, and Soothsayers. And it was like one of those books like for like $5. I thought it was really interesting. It has beautiful, beautiful artwork from the day. And I got the Ultimate Fairies Handbook, same type of book. Found it at Chapters Indigo. And has a lot of poetry in there and a lot of fairy lore and the artwork. And now, speaking of the Llewellyn, these are like the, let me yank these out. These are like the, no, my finger got in the way of the camera, sorry. These are like all those magical almanacs and the Witch's Companion and the date books. Obviously, some of them, I do have one from 2013. Crap. Okay, I guess I have, you know, those are things that I've gotten as birthday gifts, Yule gifts from friends and everything, because they know that I'm, you know, the witchy perspective and everything. Other books that I have, I just acquired Medicine Walk by Laurie Lacey. He's a man from Lunenburg here in Nova Scotia. Talks about a lot of like meditative techniques on what to do when you're going out and looking for different types of herbs, and when you're foraging that for local things, their medicinal uses, if they're edible, if they're not. So that's a really, really good book. This is a little bit of a pile of books that I have on the floor because I did tidy up my books for this. I have a copy of the Mabinogion This is an unabridged version. I believe it is the translated one that I think her name was Lady Guest. Let's take a peeky. Yes, it was Lady Guest that did the translation. So it's not the greatest, but it also gives you a little bit of the lore of the Mabinogi. So it is a really, really good book. I do have Celtic lore and legend. This book I had to steal from another bookcase because I do have some witchy books mixed in with the non-witchy books. If you're wondering, like, my witchy fiction, like Mists of Avalon and all that, they're over on my other bookcase. Newest book that I'm reading as well is The Enchanted Formulary. It's by Lady Ray and Eve LaFay. It's not bad. You know, it's one of the better formularies that I've seen, that, you know, that I around. It actually gives really good stories behind each oil that she uses in her own shops in New York. So I'll put that down. Another Scott Cunningham book. Somebody recommended this, so I said, yeah, what the hell, why not, right? And it's Scott Cunningham's The Complete Book of Incense, Oils, and Brews. It's not bad. It's one of those 101 books if you're starting out doing things. And I think my last book, I just got this the other day. It's a journal to keep track of everything. If you've ever listened to The Infinite and Beyond, or now it's now referred to as Down at the Crossroads, this is by my buddy Chris Orapello. Yeah. He pokes me a lot on Facebook. I'll just tell you that now. We have like poking day. We poke each other daily on Facebook. But he's hilarious, and he's great to talk to, and you know, it's a great book. What it is just a journal, really. It just it has like a little bit about moon phases and astrological phases of the planets and everything like that, but it's just a book that you just fill out what you're doing magically for the year. And I love the cover artwork. I think it's like awesome. He drew it. All the artwork in the book is by him as well. So that is about it for my little my bookcase. I hate having books on the horizontal. It drives me up the wall. Okay, if you're wondering what you're seeing up here, my bookcase is supposed to be a 3-shelf bookcase, but because I have like a lot of tall books, this is where I keep some of my magical supplies. Yeah, so very quickly skim over these. The binders are actually, I have copies of the Robert Cochrane letters to Joe Bearwalker Wilson. And I also have some, I have an herbal book that I found the PDF, and it was just like, oh, I got a new printer. This was like a couple years ago, so I printed off the whole PDF of this herbal book. I can't remember which one it was. I'm not yanking out the binder because it's the big thick one. But up above is my the letters from Robert Cochrane. Now, if anybody knows, he's never written a book. He just wrote letters and articles for various magazines over in Britain back in the 60s before he tragically died of an overdose. So that is about it. A little bit of my ancestor altar up top. Don't show too much of that. So that is it. That is my little book collection. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, so when I start getting more books and I update things, I will. Just a quick update. I did have Kenny Klein's book, Fairy Tale Magic. Fairy Tale Rituals is what it is. I'm actually going to be doing something very shortly with it because I couldn't stand what that fucker did by downloading all the porn. So I have his book. I'm going to be getting ready to do a book burning ritual with it. So out comes the pages, out comes my my handy dandy lighter over my cauldron. I'm going to do it outdoors because I don't want to do it inside my apartment and catch it on fire, because I'm blonde, if you guys haven't figured that out, and I'd probably set my building on fire, and that wouldn't be good, and Kenny Klein ain't worth the shit to burn my apartment down with. So I'm going to go find a place, get my cauldron, hopefully on a dry day because it's piss pouring rain out today, and we will get rid of that book because I don't want it in here. I don't want anything of that sort. I am a mother. I have a child with special needs. It's always on the back of my mind that something might happen to him that's not the greatest. Anyway, I hope you liked this little 20-minute video almost. So yeah, I will hopefully be making more videos fairly soon about different things. I'll try to take some pictures. Firelight asked me to take pictures of my book burning of the book, so I promised that to him, so I will do that. That's Firelight over at Inciting a Riot. Talk to him quite a bit too. He's freaking hilarious. Oh my god. And he's smart as a freaking whip. Like, he makes this 40-year-old look like I am just so dumb and so stupid. But I am his biggest fangirl. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm his biggest fangirl. Been following him for about 4 years. Been talking to him through Facebook for a few years. Anyway, got to go because I have to go to work. So I will see you later and have a great magical day. Thanks.